Hey everyone, Susan Black here.
And Pete Black and Bella.
Yes, and Bella. Gracie's over on the other part of the couch.
She's right behind us.
We are outside on our porch. We have been outside almost the whole day. I love October. I love the cooler weather. Now today was a little bit warmer.
Yeah.
Today was supposed to get to about 80, but there's a nice breeze and the sky was so blue, the humidity is down. We're supposed to get a little cool front coming through tonight, and it's going to drop the temperatures in the highs in the 60s, which I love. It's perfect. I love it. So Pete and I did do a few things out in the yard today, and even though it's October, you still need to put your sunscreen on. And so I made sure I had my sunscreen on to work out in the yard. I spend too much time trying to get my complexion looking pretty clear, and then all of a sudden, if you don't have that sunscreen on, you start to get uneven skin tone and dark marks. So, but anyhow, welcome to our porch. Again, my name is Susan Black, and I help women conquer the effects of aging skin to build their self-confidence and to bring out their inner cougar. All right, so the title of the Facebook Live is, Have You Ever Been Kidnapped? Okay, so you got to stay to the end to hear that. But we wanted to tell you, we started, a friend of mine, Shannon Williamson, had told me about this company called Storyworth. And I've shared that with all of you before, that each Monday they give you a prompt question and you go ahead and put your story online, and then after a year they compile a hardback book for you that's your story. And you can pick the question, whatever questions you want, you can pick them. You could do your own questions. You can put them in different orders. So anyhow, we did that, and I don't have any benefit financially from the company Storyworth. But if any of you are interested in doing that, let me know, because I can get you a $10 off coupon. So I'm doing it as well for my story, but Pete's going to share his story today, and we're going to talk about his dad. So first of all, let me give you some background information. His dad was Lee Chalmers Black, and he was born on November the 14th, 1929. And he also had a short life. He passed away on August the 4th of 1996, which made him just 66 years old. And we had talked last week about Pete's mom, that she only lived to the age of 56. And that's the age I am right now, and just to think what she missed out on.
Well, a lot of people didn't know much about the effects of smoking.
Right. Both of his parents did pass away from lung cancer. They didn't really have super long battles with it. I think his mom knew something was wrong, but she didn't want to go to the doctor. And his dad did go through some chemotherapy treatments and radiation and that type of stuff.
Yes, he met another person, and he wanted to live as long as possible because he had somebody to be with.
To share his life with.
Yes.
Because it was hard after their mom, Justine, had passed away. But, I forgot to ask your brothers, where was your dad born?
Somewhere in the upper part of the
Was he born? Because your mom was in Connecticut.
Yes, it's in that area.
Okay, we'll have to get that information so that I have
and
that.
I think he had relatives that were not in that area. So.
Okay, so we'll figure that out. But Pete's dad was in the armed forces. He started off in the Army.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And
in World War One. Two. One. Two.
No, not World War One.
Two.
No, he was. Well, yeah, he made.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yes, he was just a kid. He was about 18.
Yeah, 17 or 18.
And he was in like this getting all the stuff that you got to move to the front, and that's
supplies.
He's just a kid. He was just doing what it was told.
Kind of logistics type stuff.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
So he did serve his time in the Army, but then he switched over to the Air Force.
Right.
And that's where Pete's parents met, is while they were both serving in the Air Force. But your dad had a full retirement in the Army, or the Air Force, Didn't he serve
Yes.
so he had,
Yeah.
and then he, tell us about what career he chose once he got out.
Well, it came out of the
Air Force.
Air Force, because you have to have food and you have to refrigerate, and you have to have good people working that equipment. So he I don't know what made him do that, but he did. He got all the he
His
went
training.
through all the training and stuff, and when he got out of the Army, that really helped him with all the kinds of things you have to do with all those.
So his dad got into heating and cooling.
Right.
And he did it on his own for a while, but that was hard with having 7 kids trying to run your own business.
Right.
And he ended up joining on with a company.
But before that, I remember, we had moved to New Baltimore in Michigan, and so I remember hearing my mom and my dad, and they were, or one of my sisters or something. So they were a old lady across the street wanted to have her refrigerator taken care of, and when he went over there, he found out it's just that the light bulb was out, and he says, "What can I do?" I mean, okay, so
He didn't feel as though he was an honest man,
right,
and a kind man, and he didn't feel as though it was right to charge a service call just to change the light bulb out. So
Right.
there really wasn't a whole lot of money to be made if the kindness in your heart doesn't want to charge people for different things. But what was your dad like with you growing up with 7 kids?
Well, he could be grouchy.
Was he strict?
With 7 kids, it's and he actually, and also he added on to the house when we got to Michigan.
He remodeled it,
and remodeled the whole,
so
just about
so
the
it
whole
would
thing.
fit, so that it would fit
Yeah,
7
so we
kids
got-
in it.
Yeah. So that was interesting.
Was your dad the disciplinarian in the
Yes,
household?
Yes. My mom only would do that if she had to. She really had to. There was one time when, and my younger brothers say they don't remember this, but it was a really rainy day, and we wanted to go out and just splosh around. Little kids, 6, 8, 10 maybe, and we were splashing around, and then we came in, and all the mud got onto the carpet and stuff like that. My mom was so mad, and she said she got so mad she sent them out, all of us naked outside, and then to get all the stuff off of us, and then we had to go down to the basement and clean off.
The neighbors must have thought that was pretty funny.
Yes.
But you know what? That was kind of how we were raised back then. It really wasn't out of the ordinary for something like that to happen. And we did used to run around and play in mud puddles and
Yeah.
things like that. And we had a ditch in our front yard, a drainage ditch. And when it would rain really hard, the drainage ditch would get pretty full. And you think about it, that water's nasty. We used to go swimming in it. So we just did those types of things, You look back at them now and you think, oh my gosh, how crazy and stupid that is. But what were the type of hobbies that your dad liked?
Well, when he was still in the
Heating and cooling?
Air Force,
Oh, Air Force.
he took up a what do you say? Pick up a a thing. I'm sorry. It's the my dad made airplanes, and
Like balsam wood planes?
yes, he built them by himself. He got he'd get maybe the drawings, and then he would do really close stuff, and really that would nobody in our house would be able to do it, because that's one
Patience.
thing.
He had
Yeah,
patience
that's
with
one
that.
thing. That's one thing that he did. When he did that, that calmed him down.
Because he was a
And-
pretty impatient guy.
Yes, he was. He was. So he would, and he. I remember in Chanute Air Force Base, there was a big area that was wide open, and the kids would run around and stuff, and other kids there, and so he would make it, and then he would let it go, and it didn't have any.
Engine or anything.
No, it had an engine,
It
but
did.
it was a free flying. It would just go.
Right.
And we did that back then, and then when we came back to Michigan, we did one too, I believe, and that one disappeared too. I mean, he put so much into it, and then it's gone, and it's sad.
So your dad really enjoyed bowling.
Yes.
You were a bowling family. So the title of the Facebook Live is Have You Ever Been Kidnapped? And there's a story that goes along with that. So share that story with everybody about Pete thinking he was
I'm
kidnapped.
probably the only one in our family that would do that. So this was in New Baltimore, Michigan, and I wasn't really interested in bowling, and I was too young. So I just wanted to hang around with my dad, and so he took me there
To the bowling alley.
To the bowling alley, and most of the time I was, the pool. What do you call them? The things that you pull back in the games.
Like skittle, not skittle.
No.
I know what you're talking about.
But you pull back the plunger and it goes ding ding ding.
Okay,
ding,
you're
ding.
talking about a pinball.
Right, pinball, and then I love doing that. I didn't even pay attention to my dad when he was bowling, but and by the way, that was McDonald's was the biggest deal when we lived there, and when you had
It was a
kids,
treat.
too,
You
it
didn't
was a
have,
treat
yeah.
having, these little dinky sandwiches. And so, but it was when I guess it was when I was going, I don't know if it was when we were going back or going home or whatever, but my dad, the couple times I went there, whenever I went, he never said a word, not a word. And my dad had very few words anyway, but, and so I started thinking, is this really my dad? Is he going to kill me? Is he going to drop me off on something? Because he's not saying anything. Is he going to just dump me in the dump?
So as a small child, Pete wondered if his dad was kidnapping him.
It was all going in my head. But that's funny for a kid that's 7 years old. But it was a little scary, and I think my mom or my sisters may have mentioned it or found out about it, and they laughed.
So we'd like to know some stories about your dads. Dads are important. They're an important part of everybody's lives. If anybody is fortunate for their dad to still be living, take advantage of that. Hear their stories. Spend time with them, because once they're gone, their stories are gone, and those special times together. So I'd like to know some stories about your dads. What made them special for you? How was your relationship with your dad? So until we meet again, remember to enjoy your journey.